now.
So welcome back to Stockport County Live. This week we are joined by our expert, Liam Dickinson. All right, Dicko?
How you doing, guys? You okay? Lovely to be here.
Lovely to have you on. And obviously my co-presenter, Chris Ridgway, is with us as well. Yeah.
I've not got a beer again, mate. What's going on?
Do you know what? Thursdays is my night off. It's my night when I give my liver a rest.
Yeah, I've heard that
before. Someone smell his coffee.
Yeah. Dicko's just come out of his hot tub time machine, so it should be nice and clean.
Nice and steamy.
Come on, mate. Come on. What was the listen, this is what everyone wants to know. Why was Liam Dickinson in a hot tub?
Because I'm not a sheep. I like to, you know what I'm like. I like to mix up. To be honest, I'll tell you what. I was actually away with on a staycation with the missus and the kids and another family of friends of ours. We went down to Tattersaw Lakes. Absolutely beautiful place it is. Right next to the RAF base, and they were training night flying. So that was good. It felt like the jets were landing in the static caravan at one point. My little girl, she's only 2, and she fell asleep like this. But it was lovely, yeah. So yeah, I thought I'd share the moment with everyone.
So
mate, you loved it.
You're not a sheep, but you were having a dip. Anyway,
yes.
We're here to talk about Stockport County, and apart from a dodgy first game, everything is now going to plan. County are absolutely steamrolling teams. They're doing like what good teams do. They're having like a bit of trouble first half, and then they're working teams out, and they're absolutely steamrolling teams. And now this is what the bookie said would happen. This is what, that team has been designed to do. But when you've got a good team like that, you still have to go out and do it, Liam Dickinson.
Of course, it doesn't come naturally. It still takes a lot of hard work, and I feel like when you've got a team that are doing so well, the pressure's on more because the team's going to beat you. The team's going to want to put that winning streak to an end, and I feel like it's more important when you are winning games to focus and keep up the hard work.
Yeah, and not just winning games, but winning games well. Chris Ridgway and specifics. Start on Saturday, Dover to 3-0 win. Bit of a drab first half, and then Alex Reid comes on and changes everything.
Yeah, there's the kid they signed from Fylde, is it?
Yeah,
I've heard quite a bit about him. I think he's been spoken about highly. I know a couple of lads I spoke to. Was it who I spoke to down there, Ducks, and a couple of lads I've spoke to down there, and they have spoke highly of him. And obviously, you got the likes of Rooney popping up with goals. That's what you want players to be doing week in, week out, and it seems like they've took off really well, and hopefully they can maintain that throughout the season, because that's the hardest thing, I think, maintaining the performances. It's all right having the good performances, but the consistency is key.
You've got to say, John Rooney. John Rooney's gone from no goals to 5 goals in 2 games. I mean, maintaining that. It's not going to be easy.
Hard to maintain, but I mean, it happens. I think you get strikers and midfielders, and you get players who go through droughts, and people write them off, and then all of a sudden it just takes 1 or 2 games on a bounce, couple of goals, and bang, the confidence is there. They're scoring goals, they're performing well, not just scoring goals, but playing well as well. So I feel like hopefully that's the start of a very good season for him.
And, do you know what caught my eye? I think you touched on it at the top there, Martin. The first game County had. I mean, you can't say it was a dodgy performance. They've absolutely put Torquay to the sword, just not scored, and then Torquay have gone and snatched it. You look at all the games since, and you touched on it where you said the first half. Sometimes they do take a bit of time to figure teams out. I watched it. I was at the Dover game. Yeah, come on, it's not the best first half of football you've seen. And again, Wealdstone, they've gone behind, but that's you're right to say what they've done is they've built a team now that are going to figure teams out, and we've seen it before. Dicko, you will know it better than anybody. Jim Gannon Jim Gannon is a master of playing this game.
He's a tactical genius.
He will figure teams.
He's the lower league Pep. And honestly, you know, like I've said before on you know, on the previous podcast we did, the amount of work that he puts in off the pitch it's just frightening. You know, the hours that he puts in, just so he could get maybe one thing right on a Saturday or a Tuesday, and it works. It's been proven over the years, and you know, I feel like going through the season, and the players will see that and trust in that. And the amount of times, obviously, like I say, when I was there, and you had the games where it was just dead. It was just like a bit of abysmal game. There was nothing happening, but you knew you'd get an opportunity, a chance, and we were prepared for that. And I'm pretty sure that's how the current county team will feel. They'll be prepared for that to take that moment, to take that chance. And it seems like they have been doing recently. So that's a good thing.
I seem to remember us having that discussion. I seem to remember us having that discussion where we said it's not often managers or teams do the double over Jim Gannon side in the season. So if they do get the better of him, if they do beat him in one game, then he'll go back and he'll meticulously study why they lost. And he's now doing that. I mean, this is not a new thing, but we're seeing it more now. He's doing that in the game. The first half is often very different to the second half because if we're not winning the first half, why not? And the Alex Reid substitution is literally in a nutshell. You know, Reid's come on, changed the game, won a penalty within 10 minutes of being on the pitch. He's got his first goal a few minutes later. He's gone on to get man of the match. I mean, that substitution has literally won the game.
He's been doing that for a while. I mean, you know, it's not about me. It's about the current team we're talking about. But I'd like to just emphasise that Jim's been doing that for a while. I remember he took me on loan at Peterborough, and the first game against Ipswich, and he started me with I think it was Mikhail Smith, fans' favourite, absolutely adored by the fans. And I think we're about 20 minutes in, and it wasn't going to plan. And instead of dragging me off, it was my debut. The Peterborough fans didn't know much about me. He dragged Mikhail Smith off. He was booed. He put another player on. He put Reedy on. We won 3-1. We beat him 3-1, and he was a hero. He made that. He's not scared of making these big decisions tactically. If he thinks he's going to help benefit the team, he's not more. He won't make these changes to keep people happy. He'll do it to win games, and he's been doing that for a long time, and it's paid off. It's paid off for him, and I feel like. Again, he's made that decision again. He's brought Alex on, and it's worked. And it's not just a coincidence. It's a lot of thought process behind it.
And that's what I was going to say. That he's always had that kind of tactical brain, that hard work, thinking everything through, looking at the opposition, building a team for that, picking the right team for the opposition. But now what you've got as well. He's got a really good squad as well. So whereas he might have had to bring somebody on because that was his only choice, now he's got choices. Yeah. Now he's got a squad that he's built because he's been able to spend money that he wants, and he's got the players he wants. So now finally, it's like the jigsaw's complete for him.
Yeah, definitely. And again, it's a nice problem to have. Managers will say that all the time. When your players are performing. And then you play, and then your subs are coming off the bench and scoring goals or putting good performances. It gives you a headache, but it's a good headache to have.
Yeah.
One thing that comes up a lot, and again, Dicko, we're going to rely on your knowledge and expertise here. But one thing that comes up, and it has done for years, and as long as I can remember working at County with Jim Gannon there, the people who criticise, the fans, and there's always going to be them. Alex Ferguson would have had him at United and everywhere in between. There was always fans who say, "Oh, he could improve this, he could improve that," and it's always noticed that Jim shouts a lot on the touchlines during games, and a lot of people will put two and two together, and then they'll go, "So that means his man management's not very good. Tactically, he's great, but his man management's not very good." Now you look at the core players that he's got in this squad, the players that he's taken from the National League North to where they are now, and let's not forget they almost made the playoffs last year. Yeah. If the season had played out, I think
they probably would have made the playoffs.
Yeah. Now that man management has taken players like Sam Minahan Ash Palmer, Jordan Keane, Adam Thomas, Ben Hinchliffe, Niall Bell, from this part-time, am I going to stay in football or am I readying myself for a full-time career away from it, to full-time professional football players who could well go on to win the league this season. If that isn't a testament to his man management, then I don't really know what is.
I feel like you say, you're always going to get critics, no matter who you are, no matter what level you are. You can be Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi. You're going to get critics. You can be a manager who's trying to get into the Football League. You can be anyone, and you're going to get critics. But I feel like a good footballing brain, a fan, a player, knows a good manager when they see him. And players need managing differently. Some players will need an arm around them. Some players will need a bollocking. But it's about that balance. And I feel like, yeah, you're not always going to get it right. Sometimes Jim will scream and shout at someone, and it's not going to help him. But it's a learning curve. You said that he's been, previously he'll make changes. He'll look at videos and look at the games back, and now he's doing it at half time and during the game, and he's wondering how I can change this. He's still learning every day. Every game he's learning. From the minute when he was a player to now, he's learning, as is everyone, as a player, as a footballer, as a sports person in life. You're learning daily. So I feel like you're going to get your critics. You're not going to get everything right, but the majority of things he is getting right, and it's been proven over the years. Not only has he taken a handful of semi-professional players in the Conference North to where they are, into the National League, and looking for promotion and almost into professional footballers. But he's done that at a higher level. He came in at Stockport County and kept Stockport County in the Football League. He got them promoted to League One, when other managers couldn't do that. So it's like I say, you can't please everyone, but I feel like a good footballing brain knows that, he's a very good manager, and his man management skills are good.
Yeah, and Chris, tip of the cap to Ash Palmer, who's been nominated for Northwest Footballer of the Year.
Yeah,
really deserves that. And we have to be honest and say, on the podcast 18 months ago, 2 years ago, can't remember when it was, when he first came to the club, we questioned whether he was good enough. And that guy is getting better and better, and he's a cornerstone of this team, and really deserves that nomination.
I feel like
it does
as well, though. The club brings it out in you. I mean, I remember back in the day, a lot of critics. Ashley Williams had a lot of critics. Is he good? He's not good enough. He makes a lot of mistakes. Captained his country for years. Played in the Premier League. He's been proven that he's played at the highest possible level. He's played with Gareth Bale. He's been Gareth Bale captain. So it doesn't matter if people question you. It's a challenge to prove them wrong, and I feel like Ash has done that. Ash Palmer's done that. Sorry, and I feel like it's a nice challenge to have, and it's good to prove people wrong. And fingers crossed he wins that, because it's fully deserved. And I hope he gets next year is celebrated in the Football League as well.
Do you know what I like about Ash Palmer and Dicko? You'll know this better than mine and myself. To make a career work at a football club, so many things have got to go right. There are so many examples of good football players going to clubs and it's not worked for whatever reason. You've got, obviously, the club's got to be in a good place. I think the players got to have the ability and everything else, but there has to be that fit, that culture fit. And Ash Palmer has come in, and he has had, all right, Paul Turnbull was the club captain through the promotion season, but Ash was a vice captain, and he stood in a lot for Paul that season.
Yeah,
and he got it. That season, the relationship between the club and the fans was something else. Players like Sam Walker, Matty Warburton, these guys who scored the goals, got the assists, and right up in the fans' faces, they had this relationship. And Ash Palmer, again, you're talking about captain in that mentality. Ash Palmer was right at the front of that. And it's because he's developed as a person. I think we've seen that playing style develop, just like you say, like Ashley Williams did all those years ago.
Like you've got you've got to have that natural leadership. It seems like he's got that. And once you've got that, and like I say, Stockport County, Esley Park, it's a fortress. It's you're not going to go to any other ground in that league and have an atmosphere like that, let alone, you know, in the higher leagues. And it takes someone to grab people, grab players by the scruff of the neck at times, drag them through games, or you know, put their arm around them. Like I say, it's management. You need a leader to do that, and it looks like he's really starting to progress and and become that new Paul Turnbull.
He's such a nice guy as well. You know, like you'll have seen this with players. There are some players like, right, we see Roy Keane on the telly, right? You know exactly what he's like. As a player in the dressing room, you can guess exactly what Roy Keane's like. But Ash Palmer, if I didn't know that he was a footballer, I would never picture him like that, because when you speak to him, he's really well spoken, speaks really clean, everything else. He's just, I don't know, I guess that's part of the ability of being a leader, is just to adapt to the situation in front of you.
Of course. But like I said, you don't have to be a screamer and shouter. You can be a calm, considerate, cool-headed player and still have the respect from your teammates, the fans, the management, and the opposition. You don't have to be smashing people, telling people, "Oh, pull your socks up, pull your finger out." You know, he's a way of managing games, and it really does seem like he's progressing into a very good captain.
It's a fascinating thing, that, isn't it? Respect. Because as you rightly just said there, Liam, people can get it in different ways.
Yeah, of course.
And you will know better than us from playing with various captains, various other players. You look at people, and sometimes you don't understand it yourself. But there are people that just command respect from you naturally, and it seems like he's one of those guys.
You don't just get respect; you've got to earn respect, and he's doing everything right. He's doing everything the right way to earn that.
Yeah. So the second game, 5-2 win at Wealdstone. You want some? I'll give it to Wealdstone.
I would have.
Good for Kent to get on the road, and again to deal with some early problems, and then John Rooney's just gone crazy. Richie Bennett gets
that's a fine for you, Martin, by the way.
I'll take
fiver in the fine jar.
Again, it's goal with confidence. Rooney, it's nothing more you can ask for as a player, as a manager, as a teammate, than for someone to be scoring goals. And there's no better feeling. So he's going to want to continue that, and he's going to go through droughts. Every footballer at every level does it. You get Sergio Aguero gets droughts. Do you think it affects him? It probably does affect him at times, but I feel like strikers, especially strikers, it's a confidence position. And when you're in the back of the net, you think every game I'm going to score. Every game I'm going to score. I'm going to get one chance. I'm going to score. You think about your celebration. You think about how you're going to score, how your goals are going, because you've got that confidence and you're beaming. So it's nice to see that, and it's nice to be a part of that as a teammate, because when your teammate's scoring goals, you can rely on them.
Yeah. And coming up, 2 games against Chesterfield. So they drew Chesterfield in the FA Cup, and they've got a league game against Chesterfield as well. Do you look at the FA Cup game, therefore, slightly differently? Or do you literally, take it as it comes, you play your best side and you take
your best side in the FA Cup. FA Cups, there's no better cup than the FA Cup. I mean, I used to love playing in it, and that Tuesday night FA Cup game under the floodlights, you can't beat it. And then I've had some great draws over the years. The likes of County Watford. We played Watford away. I've played against Aston Villa.
Did Ashley Young score in that game?
Ashley Young at Bong Lahore and Milder when I was at Brighton, played against Aston Villa. But I think Young played for Watford, didn't he?
Yeah, played for Watford. Yeah.
Ben, what's he called? Goalkeeper.
Ben Foster.
Ben Foster played. Done me a treat. Went to closing down, he just absolutely skinned me.
On the FA Cup, I think County are due a big team, aren't they? It's been a long time.
It has been a long time, yeah.
One of those fixtures where it'll get the whole town behind them.
Hopefully, next year when the fans can get in there as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I like that. I like that it's Chesterfield. I mean, look, we've got them in the league first, and because of the history with Chesterfield, and because, let's be honest, they're a club that they don't belong at this level, just like County don't.
No.
And I don't want to sound presumptuous and all the rest of it, but come on. But because of the history and what County fans will associate with that name, Chesterfield, I quite like that we've got them in the league and then the cup. You know, you'll forget who they are when the game gets underway. Of course you will. But the fact that it's one of the bigger clubs in this division coming to Edgeley Park, will have just played them in the league, so there'll be a bit of a talking point, you know, a few little battles, I assume, still going on the pitch. And it, like you say, if we're going to tee up one of those big names a little bit further down the line in the FA Cup, it'd be nice to say we didn't get there by beating the Dog and Duck. Yeah. You know, we got there by beating Chesterfield and then someone else, you know.
I feel like Chesterfield's a big club. When I used to play them, I used to know it's going to be a good game. And like you said, they don't deserve to be where they are. So it's good to play these bigger teams. Like you say, you don't want to. We got there for the Dog and Duck teams. You want to work hard. You want to prove yourself. And I feel like when you play the lower teams, it just goes under the radar. Whereas when you get a big team, it's like, oh, you know what? They've done well there. They've beat them. They wasn't expected to beat them. You know, they must be working well together. They must be gelling together. And Jim Gannon must have a good bunch of lads there. It gets noticed more, and I think you got to get more respect for it.
There's a taxi driver test, you know, when in the usual circumstances, when I used to cover the game, do the commentary on the game, and sometimes go for a few beers on Edgeley or something afterwards. If you get a taxi home, taxi driver will say, "Oh, you've been to the game today?" And you say, yeah. And we say, "Who'd you play?" And if you played someone like, you know, one of the bigger clubs down at non-league, be it Wrexham, you know, Chesterfield, Stranraer, whoever, then right, good, yeah. But if you turn around, with all due respect to teams like Brackley or you know, Nuneaton or something like that, they'll go, who are they? Like, who are they? And so I think it's always nice to play teams that play the taxi driver test. Again, as disrespectful as that might sound.
But they were in the semis as well about 5-6 years ago, weren't they? They had a really good cup run, so you know they've got decent pedigree. So
they've done well. You know, they had one of the old. I'm not sure. Was it Christian Dennis went there?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he was a very good player. Deno. I think he was very underrated, and he could score goals. He had a wonderful.
Gone to Scotland now, isn't he? Yeah, he's just moved up there.
Yeah, wonderful left foot. But was chatting earlier, and we were talking about it's the first time in a while that we've Stockport have won the first 2 games, back-to-back games, is it? Or
home games, back-to-back home games. Yeah,
home games.
I think I'm right in saying this. I'm sure any of the wonderful people that like to pick us up on errors in commentary and stuff. I think I'm right in saying the last time County won back-to-back home games in the opening home games of the season, Jim Gannon was a player.
Really?
Yeah.
I was going to say, it definitely wasn't back-to-back first 2 games, because I'm pretty sure that me scoring the winner against Dagenham, then the winner against Chesterfield, back-to-back games in the first 2 games of the season would have been up there.
Yeah, well, it would have been up there. No, it would have been. But I think I'm right in saying that. But I let the starters pick me up on that. But I think I'm right in saying it.
So, anything else to talk about County before we move on to broken news?
Just
John Rooney's killing it. Ash Palmer's going to win the award. Sam Minahan's slotted in. Jordan Keane, they've made the transition part-time, full-time. Fans are happy.
I see that it just pops up. Is he made? Is it 100th appearance or 150 appearances?
150 appearances, yeah, for Sam Minahan.
And you know what? I mean, for lower leagues, that's a lot, because you go from one club to another, and to stick it out, and you know it's a big club to be at as well, especially in lower leagues. If it's not working, if you're not bouncing on them leagues, there's so many changes within the squad, and so to be a consistent player throughout is it's a real I take my hat off to him.
Yeah,
I remember, Chris, when we were on the radio, when I used to come down. Obviously, I'm not a County fan, but obviously I've watched a lot of County over the years. But but if you remember, Sam was always my favourite player, and it was because, to me, he was one of those players who stood out as would give 100% every single time, and that's what a fan loves. Complete, all about energy, working off his own energy and giving it his all the time. So I'm delighted to see Sam as part of this, because he's had a few injuries and that over the last few years, but he's still got 150 games under his belt, and he's part of this fantastic squad now.
And hopefully, he'll get his chance in the Football League next season.
Fantastic. So yeah, Chris came up with this thing called broken news, which means it's not breaking news; it's news that's already happened.
Okay.
In the world of football, let me just ask you: would you pay £15 on top of your subscription to watch a game of football?
Absolutely no chance. I won't pay £15 to watch football live.
It's just, I mean,
Richard Landon to sort my tickets out of the county.
Can he do that?
I need to get him on the phone. You can if you've celebrated for him in the playoff semi-final. Yeah.
There's not a lot to say about it because it's just so ridiculous, isn't it?
It's just scandalous. I mean, like you pay people pay what 70, 80, 90 pound a month for Sky or Virgin, and sometimes like I could say subscriptions on top of that for Sky Sports, BT Sports, and then they want you to pay £15 per game. I support United as well. I'm not going to pay £15 to watch United at the minute. Horrendous. So it's what to do. So it's just going to be everyone's just going to be streaming.
Yeah. I've got a theory. I've got a theory on this. I was speaking to a couple of the guys. Going to name drop now. Speaking to a couple of the guys down at 5 Live about this earlier in the week, and I've got a theory that they have completely overshot how much they're going to charge. So in their heads, the plan is to charge much less than that. But if they put this massive figure out, like 15 quid a game, then in a couple of weeks they can come around and say, we've listened to the fans, we realise we're going to do this, we're now going to bring it back and it's only £8 a game or something like that. And everyone will go, oh, they do listen.
Well, that's all right.
Yeah, that's what I might be wrong, probably.
It's interesting, but I don't think they'll get the goodwill back that they've lost. People might be happy that they're now paying £8, but
I kind of like what they're doing, because I'll probably be able to say to the missus, I'm not paying £15 to watch the football. I'll have to go to the pub and watch it.
Spend 25 quid on ale.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and that means you've got to buy a meal now as well.
Yeah.
Hello.
Wait a
Hello, baby. Say, hello,
would you pay £15?
To watch United?
Yeah.
Go on.
is the completely and just to close off, just a quick chat about the Nations League. I think it just feels a little bit Tim Pot, and
it's just friendlies. It's just like it feels like friendlies. What I don't understand, if it's that important, why would you not play your strongest team? We've got the best, probably at the minute, they've probably got the best midfielder in the country, Jack Wilshere, sat on the bench. He's by far the best playmaker, creates the most chances, and he's sat on the bench. And
Jack Wilshere?
Yeah.
Grealish.
But you know what, I tweeted the other day, and it's an honour. It's an honour and a privilege to play for your country. But I fully understand these players that refuse, likes of Jamie Vardy. How can you be one of the best strikers in the league and just not play and get like 6 minutes in 2 games? And I just feel like and Danny Ings, he had a season of his life and he got like 15 minutes over 2 games. You get in a game because of your name. And I feel like
I remember the same conversation. This conversation's happened. Do you remember Darren Bent? The same thing used to happen. Top English scorer in the Premier League, couldn't get in.
Never got a chance, couldn't get in. And I mean, it does vary when I mean, I was watching. What was I watching? I was watching. Is it the Gary Neville? What's it? Some soccer box? Is it or something like that? Where he has another player on with him, and they did watching the goals and stuff. And he had Robbie Fowler on with him. And he said, do you feel like you were a bit unlucky in your era because you had the likes of Alan Shearer and players like that in front of you, and they were just unbelievable players? But I feel like you've got Harry Kane, who's a proven goal scorer. But other than that, Jamie Vardy should be playing. Danny Ings is scoring goals. You've got Calvert-Lewin, who's come onto the scene now, and Calvert-Lewin, he was actually at Stalybridge with me.
Under Keith Briggs, was that?
Yeah, I taught him everything he knows.
But did he stand out though, Dicko?
I've done. Don't do that. Yeah, he stood out. He was. You could just see he was an absolute athlete. You know, he was great in the air. He was quick. He could score goals. Half a chance he'd score, and you could see from an early stage he was going to be a very, very good player. But when you're these players and you're scoring goals for your club week in, week out, and winning leagues and winning trophies, and you're not getting a sniff in it at international level, but there's players that aren't performing for the clubs that are still playing, it must be frustrating. And I feel like Gareth Southgate is a people pleaser. He wants to. He's a yes sir, no sir kind of guy, and he needs to grow a set really and play his best players. Harry Maguire shouldn't be in that. I feel like Danny Ings, and by the way, hats off to Connor Cody, unbelievable. Took his chance with both hands, and I really like him. And I feel like we should play our strongest team, and some of these players who have been playing for the last few years aren't in that.
Yeah, Connor Cody is like a Sam Minahan. He's as I say, as a fan, he's the kind of player you want to see because 100% everything. Clearly loves playing the game, but gives, he's a bit like Carragher.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Just absolute 100% passion when he's playing the game.
Put his body on the line for it, and he's so grateful for the opportunity he's got. Yeah,
it's a shame, but I think what I think is that the Premier League and the Champions League have killed international football outside of the World Cup. World Cup, we can all get up for it, but there's too much pressure on the players. It's too much, there's too much football. It makes it difficult.
Too much.
Managers are going to pull players out of the squad. It's too difficult. I think
you've got is it a 22-man squad, and it's like one team, and then the next game is a total different team.
Yeah.
And the third game, it's a mixture. Just need to keep that consistency more. I think you've got your starting 11 to 14 players mixed up, and then if injuries or someone's really impressed in the season, give them a chance. Give them more than 15 minutes though. Give them a game.
Yeah. So, on that note, I think we can put Stockport County Live to bed for this week. I haven't got a hot tub, so I'm off to fart in the bath. But I will.
I'm off to sink a few more beers and reminisce on the olden days.
Nico,
we're going to have you back in a couple of weeks, aren't we? We're going to have you as a guest host quite a lot through the season. Looking forward to it, mate.
Yeah,
I am looking forward to our trip together, guys.
Brilliant. It's going to be a fantastic trip this season, and we're going to live every minute of it. Cheers, Liam. Thanks, Chris.
Guys. See you later. Bye.
Hey, boys. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, right. I'm going to go and get my tea. I'll download and edit it tonight. Let's hope for a morning release. I'll send you the MP3 tonight.
All right, mate. Have a good one.
All right, boss. See you later.
Peace.